This is a good movie podcast with Katie and Joe.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of This is a Good Movie podcast. I'm your host, Katie Hetledge, and I'm staring into the eyes of my co-host, who will introduce himself now.
Hi, I'm her husband, Joe Bates.
Co-host,
sorry. Honestly, I am a little bit thrown.
Why?
Now, we don't have a video package for like Patreon people to like see what we're doing.
Not yet.
Your hand signals to begin this podcast. You were like flying for a little bit. You had your hands out wide and you covered your mouth for a second like you're a nervous schoolgirl. I don't know what's going on.
None of that is true.
Yeah, right. None of that is true.
There's no video evidence.
There is no video of evidence until you get our future Patreon.
I know. Maybe we never will do video for this because I can't control my facial reactions or my hand movements while speaking.
We need to talk to a doctor about that.
No, I can control them, but they're just not.
Can you or can't you? Answer the question, Katie. The people want to know.
They're not good for video.
You can't handle the truth is what you're supposed to say. Well, that's pretty funny. I wish I could explain what I saw. It was real artsy. We're back for our third episode of This is a Good Movie podcast. And folks, I know it'll seem like a week to you.
But boy, oh boy, has it been a minute since we actually watched this movie.
It has been a while. This is probably the longest we've gone from watching a movie to talking about it.
It is 1,000% the longest we've gone because it has been almost a month.
It's been almost a month. Well, we've had a lot of things going on, like laziness.
No, travel and what have you. Yeah, I don't know. Has a lot happened in that month? Do we have
We've traveled.
We've
had a few things happen. But the main thing is what's going to happen in the future that I'm looking forward to.
What?
Which is us driving to St. Louis.
Yet again.
Which is like a 12-hour drive.
Who doesn't love a 12-hour drive through absolutely nothing? That's what I say. Who doesn't love to stare out into the abyss that is Kansas and wonder, what am I doing with my life and what will I do for the next 6 hours?
Now, I would argue half of Kansas is watchable. Like, I like the town of Salinas. I like the town of Topeka. And I like the rolling hills. The other half of Kansas is garbage.
I like the rolling hills for about 10 minutes.
Oh, I like looking out in there and then realizing I'm not staring at the road.
Trees.
You need trees.
I need trees.
So you love Pennsylvania. We drove through Pennsylvania.
Yeah, driving through Pennsylvania is great. There's trees everywhere.
This is a good question. What's the best state to drive through?
I don't know. Well, I haven't really driven through that many.
We have driven through most of the country, Katie.
I don't think that's true.
Well, I guess you didn't go to Arkansas when I drove to Arkansas. So that's fair.
So that's fair. Of all the states that I have driven through, which is the best one?
For me, while you're thinking about it, when I moved from the Bay Area out to Chicago, driving through Wyoming was like, holy, like this is cool. Like you see great
I liked when we
mountains
drove through like Tennessee and North Carolina to get out to North Carolina, and we drove through that way and through the mountains. That was nice.
Oh, we stopped at that small town that was like in the hills, and like we talked to a person who was like, "Why are you here? Never come here." Almost like there was a cult in the town we weren't supposed to find.
They wanted
about.
us to leave.
Yes, I know we're selling like souvenirs, but these don't go to the town. The money.
Wait. Also, what are you talking?
I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm kind of adding. I'm doing some flavor.
Did we stop? Is this true? Where did we stop? What are you talking about?
We were going back up. We stopped at this small town, and we didn't have Wally with us.
Oh, but that was between New York and North Carolina.
Yes.
That's not going through Tennessee.
No,
that's
it was like Virginia. I think we were in Virginia.
Yeah. What was that town? That was cute. We stopped at this... we were looking for coffee.
You were going with me without any idea.
Yeah, we were looking for coffee, and then we found like a coffee shop, and we have to go kind of 20 minutes off of our way. And we find this coffee shop, but it's actually like a hybrid coffee shop.
It's in the back corner.
Sit down restaurant, gift store. And it was like 5 things in one for this small town. And we did go in and get coffee. And then I got a wallet at the gift store.
Oh, yeah. You got the wallet at the gift store. Yeah. You like that. And I would say this is the closest we've ever come to a Gilmore Girls town.
No. It is not close to a Gilmore Girls town. Oh my gosh. That's embarrassing. I feel like we've been to towns here in Colorado that are almost closer.
Oh, really?
To a Gilmore Girls town.
Like Golden?
Like Georgetown.
Where is Georgetown?
With the railroad.
Oh, yeah. I would say that is not a Gilmore Girls town.
Exactly. That's how much closer it is to a Gilmore Girls town.
That was a dead town.
Other place. Oh my gosh. Not that.
That was a ghost town.
That is the town next to Georgetown.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Silverton is an actual ghost town. That's not what I'm talking about. We went to Silverton. We tried to get lunch. It's a literal ghost town. Like if you look it up, it's branded as like, come to Silverton. It's a ghost town.
We got ghosts.
Check it out.
Yeah, no.
And then we were like, okay, we clearly cannot get lunch here. And then we drove to the next closest town with the railroad.
Yeah, that is a Gilmore Girls like town. That makes sense. I'm with you.
I just saw on Instagram, they were like, come visit this Hallmark Christmas movie town, and it was Georgetown, and I was like, we gotta go back.
That honestly makes a lot of sense. I could see a lot of like Christmas movies being filmed there.
I don't think they filmed them there. It's just like Christmas movie-esque.
Oh, I thought they were saying like Hallmark movies are filmed there.
No, they film Hallmark movies in Canada, Joe.
I don't know where Canada is, Katie. I'm scared.
We should go soon.
Okay, bye. End of podcast.
I do want to.
We could probably stop at Georgetown on the way to Frisco.
I know. I wasn't gonna say that because we don't need to share our like exact
itinerary
plans with everyone. They don't.
Well, this
care.
is after we would do that.
I know, but
it was a great time.
We loved it.
We did a sleigh ride. Anyways, I've got movie news.
Okay.
Can you do the movie news theme song?
Movie news. It's news about a movie.
Nice.
Go ahead. What's your movie news?
My movie news is pretty basic this month, but I read there was a New York Times article of Robert Pattinson.
Love him.
Called Robert Pattinson, Is He the Last Movie Star? Isn't that crazy?
Is this about, he's got a new movie coming out, that Mickey one.
17. Yeah. So it's kind of like promo of that.
I'm nervous that I'm not going to like it because he talks weird in it. He's like a weird voice. It's
but it's
Robert Pattinson.
It's the same director as the guy who did Parasite.
Well, I did really like Parasite.
So I think you're going to like it, but it's going to be weird. And I don't think you've seen any other... Bong Joon-ho? Bong Joon, I don't remember his last name, but he is a South Korean director, very famous for like some really awesome...
Yeah, I mean, movies. I remember all the memes about him during Oscar season, which was amazing. I would love for him to be back in the Oscars.
I doubt this movie is going to get
conversation, but
it'll be really fun. I think it's a movie we'll really like that other people are going to be like, oh, I forgot to see that one. It feels like that kind of movie.
Similar to Y2K, which we just saw.
Yeah, similar to Y2K, which we just saw. What did you think of Y2K?
I liked it.
I liked it too, but it could be better, I think.
You know what I loved the most is when they they do a little homage to kind of 90s, early 2000s films. In like, there are certain sequences that they're like, we don't need to explain something. We can just like show it.
You mean the hacking?
Yeah, the hacking. Well, I do want to spoil it, but the hacking part is so funny because
there's a lot of hacking, so they don't know which hacking you're talking about.
That's true. There's a lot of computer hacking. Remember when people would be like, well, just hack it?
Yeah.
Because nobody knew how computers worked.
She could hack it. She's the best hacker in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
She's the best, smartest person I know is like the funniest line in that movie.
Yeah. I really thought it was a fun movie. I don't think people need to go see it in theaters by any means, but like, give it a watch. If you like,
it'll do really well streaming, I think. It's
a fun like comedy horror. I hate horror films, but this was not like scary in that sense. It was more fun, like Gremlins.
It was more cute than I thought it would be.
It was very cutesy. Had some funny moments.
The porta potty scene was way more cute than any reason.
Oh my gosh, yeah. My only like criticism is I just wanted a little bit punchier throughout. There were laugh out loud moments, but I thought that there would be more just because Kyle Mooney is so funny and like his Netflix show was hilarious, but
his Netflix show did
also
have
deeply
those,
sad.
It also had like a lot of those long parts.
Yeah, it did.
But
it was fun.
This is a story that was in this article for New York Times. Robert Pattinson, and I think his fiance is Suki Waterhouse.
Suki Waterhouse.
Yeah. That wasn't a crazy.
They had a kid.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So there was a story, and he's talking about like after Twilight, his life, and like how like Batman was like a new thing. He'd been doing all these independent movies that nobody ever saw.
He hated doing Batman.
Well, here's a story about that. So this past New Year's, Robert Pattinson, this is verbatim from the New York Times article. This past New Year's, Robert Pattinson and Suki Waterhouse took a trip to St. Vincent and the Grenadines of the Caribbean. At passport control, the immigration officer said to him, "Hey, you're the guy from Twilight. Why'd you stop acting?"
Oh my gosh.
And Robert Pattinson wasn't sure to respond, and he goes, "I was like, I'm Batman?"
Maybe the funniest use of "I am Batman."
Yeah, that's really. I just thought that was a really funny little story of, hey, why'd you quit acting? But he's Batman.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I will say, like, I really like Robert Pattinson now.
You do. You've like always been a big Robert Pattinson fan.
But after Twilight, so I didn't really know him.
You haven't seen Twilight,
yeah.
Even though we frequently quote it,
yeah.
You haven't seen it still.
Come here, little spider monkey.
Which is why I did post a poll on our Instagram, on the podcast Instagram the other day, asking if we could justify that like it is a good enough movie to do for the podcast.
Poll results?
Overwhelmingly either yes or
those are two choices.
Well, the choices were yes, no, or no, it's not good, but you should watch it anyway. And I mean, those two were the top choices.
I will say there's a podcast I like that does like comic book news and stuff, and they have a separate podcast where they like talk about different things, and they watch Twilight, and it did make it seem much more fun than I anticipated.
Yeah, we're going to watch it at some point.
Okay.
It's just a matter of like, can I justify doing it for the podcast? I think I was gonna say I think the first movie, yes, but then I was like, I honestly don't know.
Well,
then I just remembered the scene of them in the dance studio, which means nothing to you, but everything to everyone else, and it's like, oh, it's not good, but I do really want to watch them again.
The only two things I know about Twilight are a werewolf imprints on a baby, which seems odd.
Yeah, and illegal, basically.
And they play baseball.
They do play baseball.
That's the only two things I know about the Twilight
series.
You
know more than that, but we don't need to get into it. We'll save that for the episode.
Why don't we talk about the movie you picked out for us this week?
Oh, sure.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so this movie
is
known
a good movie
as
podcast.
We watched Forgetting Sarah Marshall, a classic, a 2008 classic.
When did it come out? So 2008 it came out. Like what part of the year?
I don't know. I wrote down 2008. Jeez, I didn't know I was going to get quizzed on the month.
You're right. No, that's fine. What was the budget in the box office?
Okay, budget was $30 million.
All right.
Do you want to guess the box office?
I'm guessing like 100 million.
Yeah, it was 105.
Yeah, that makes sense. It seems like it was a successful one, but not. I don't think it was anywhere near the most successful for Judd Apatow.
So
I think 40-Year-Old Virgin was the most successful for him. Probably.
So Judd Apatow, he did produce this and was like heavily involved in the script development and casting, but he didn't write or direct this.
Oh, this is not an Apatow movie.
No. So he produced it, but the director Nicholas Stoller and Jason Segal wrote it.
Is this part of the Apatow universe though? Because I feel like
I just said he produced it.
No, I know, but I'm saying because he didn't write it, I didn't know if because I know like there's some spin-offs that happened because of this movie. Not really a spin-off. The
spin-off you're talking about, I guess, is Get Him to the Greek.
Yeah.
With Aldous Snow.
I've seen that movie.
Who is Russell Brand plays Aldous Snow. And what's interesting is Jonah Hill is in this film. He works at like the resort in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And then he plays a different character in
Yeah, he does.
Get Him to the Greek. So just and then I get why you think this though, because like Jason Segal is in a lot of Apatow movies, and he was in Freaks and Geeks, and then Paul Rudd is out, and they're in those films together, and yeah, so that makes sense. He was involved in this, but it was really Segal wrote it, and then Nicholas Stoller directed it, and the two of them co-wrote the Muppets movie together later.
Okay.
So it's like all one big kind of happy family in this sense.
I thought, did this lead to making I Love You Man? Because they like the interaction between Paul Rudd and Jason Segal?
I don't know that it did like directly.
Because I've seen all the other movies.
They are like buds. Like they are friends. So
I would say the only movie I've not seen in the Apatow stuff is, I've never seen Knocked Up.
That's really good.
And I've never seen This Is 40.
Well, okay, so that's like the sequel to Knocked Up, so that makes sense. Yeah, those are good movies. We should
watch them. But Take Him to the Greek, I laughed out loud. I don't love Russell Brand, but Jonah Hill's very funny. But
remember, he was like so famous.
Yeah. He was with Katy Perry. Yeah.
He was like so famous when this came out, and then he has since really dropped off in many ways, but...
Well, I feel like we picked the wrong British celebrities to enjoy, which is like Russell Brand and Ricky Gervais.
Well, maybe just the wrong British comedians.
Yeah, like we have these Taskmaster guys, and they should be the most famous
great.
people. They should be the most. Everyone on the show should be famous.
Yeah, why are we not just pulling from Taskmaster?
Taskmaster,
and that's it.
Yeah, but no, I was glad we watched this movie because it's just one of those movies I kind of missed. It was in a time period to 2008 where I just got out of college, not a big movie buff in that period of time.
Sure, I can't relate, but yeah.
I forgive you. Do you want to know what I thought the movie was?
Yeah. Tell me what you thought it was.
This is what I wrote down before we watched the movie.
Okay.
I think it's an engaged guy, gets broken up with before his honeymoon, decides to take it anyways, but so does his ex-fiancée. He tries to get back together with her, but finds someone else along the way.
Okay, I mean, not far off. So we've got Jason Segal, who plays Peter. Is that his name?
The names are so basic; they're so hard to remember.
God, so he is in a long-term committed relationship with Kristen Bell, and she is an actress, and she's on it's called Crime Scene of the Crime, like a serial show, and
your basic Law and Order, your basic CSI.
Right. Jason Segal is a composer.
With Donnie Baldwin.
Yes. No, Donnie Baldwin. What?
William Baldwin.
Billy Baldwin. Okay. Yeah. That's
I feel so stupid.
Good. That is tracking. So anyway, she's on the show. They break up.
Yes.
He is not ambitious. He's not doing a lot with his life.
Really?
She comes home. She breaks up with him. He's naked while this happens. And then he decides to go on a trip himself, just do something for himself. He tries to get back out there, hook up with girls. It's not going great. He doesn't feel fulfilled. He's very sad. So he's like, I'm just going to go to Hawaii. He does that. And then it just happens that she is also there, and she is with Aldous Snow, a rocker played by Russell Brand.
Yeah.
And while there, he's trying to get over her. He's kind of flirting with and hanging out with Mila Kunis, who works the front desk. And it's all about who's gonna get with who.
Yeah, the movie is about getting over your relationship.
And he has kind of a chance to get back with her, and he ends up not taking it. And in the end, he puts himself first and produces his Dracula musical that he has been writing. And Jason Segal actually did try to write a Dracula musical prior to this movie happening.
That's
a lot of this. So
that makes a lot of sense, because this is one of my takeaways.
A lot of this movie he based on his own life, and it's not about a breakup with a particular woman. It's
aimlessness.
It's based on a few different breakups that he has had. One of which was with Linda Cardellini, also from Freaks and Geeks, because they dated.
Oh, that makes sense.
But yeah, he pulled different stories from various relationships and breakups, and then kind of put this movie together. Him being naked for the breakup with Sarah Marshall is something that really happened to him. and he put in the movie, and then his mom saw the movie and was like really upset that he did this and was like crying, and he's like, I'm so sorry, Mom. And then she I guess got over it and sent an email to her entire family, and she said, I'd like to inform you all that Jason has chosen to do full frontal nudity. However, it is not gratuitous and is essential to the plot. Which I don't know that it is, but I guess it is funny.
Oh, so the mom was not upset about him pulling the real life story. His mom was upset about the nudity.
Just the nudity in the film.
So this leads to the question I think we need to just take care of up front.
Okay.
Because a lot of people are going to be asking this. A lot of people wondering this.
Oh, no. I didn't look this up.
Real or fake dong?
I didn't look that up.
Oh, okay. I thought you would have looked it up in the facts. That would have been the first thing I looked up.
Why am I Googling Jason Segal full frontal nudity?
Well, you would Google Forgetting Sarah Marshall, real, fake, dong.
I mean, I'm going to assume fake because, like, why would people do real? That seems insane.
Yeah, but it does feel like the Apatow people would be people that would be likely to do...
Maybe. So there's also, we'll just cover all the nudity up front, I guess.
Yeah.
There is also a photo of Mila Kunis, her character in this film. There's a photo of her topless in a bar, and it's hanging up in the bar bathroom.
Photoshop or real?
So that is photoshopped.
That's
I did read that. That
so
is
you
fake.
were fine Googling Mila Kunis boobs photoshopped?
No, what I Googled was Forgetting Sarah Marshall trivia. That's what I Googled, and that's what came up. And they said nothing about, all I found was this mom thing about Jason Segal. So
do you ever watch
with that what you will.
I mean, you did because you watched all the episodes of Friends recently. But the episode where Joey has to like put salami.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, like, I never understood that episode growing up. I was like, I just don't get what's happening. And even now when I watch it, like, I still don't really get it.
It's foreskin.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
All right. That's funny.
Okay.
I feel like the viewers learned a lot about me.
So that's... I just don't think so. Whatever.
Yeah.
So that is the plot. Now, what do you think of like the premise of this film?
Classic premise. Mm-hmm. No issues with the premise of this thing.
Yeah, solid.
What was it? Oh, you know what is funny is I always thought this was like a Captain Ron movie, but Captain Ron is in this, where Captain Ron was like, these couple goes on a ship, and it seems like the wife is falling in love with Captain Ron, but Ron is actually helping their relationship. I thought it was similar to that, or was going to be similar.
Along Came Polly? In Along Came Polly, Ben Stiller goes on like his honeymoon, and then they go on like a scuba.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay, yeah, I knew that's what you were thinking of. Yeah, they go on like a scuba trip, and then he finds out that his new wife is cheating on him with Hank Azaria, who plays like the scuba instructor.
There's a lot of this movie, a lot of sea. There's a lot of water and cheating.
Great. Okay.
For the places episode, this is a wacky one. We shouldn't take them over a month between movie and this.
Absolutely not.
I thought the premise was great. I liked it, and there's a couple issues I have with the movie, but I think we'll get to them along the way as we talk about like the different thematic parts of it. But I never really watched How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
But I knew Jason Segal. I keep wanting to do Steven Seagal.
I know.
Jason Segal from like I Love You Man.
I Love You Man, Muppets.
And I was like, I get the charm of this tall.
And now
this way too tall for Hollywood kind of guy.
And now Shrinking, one of our favorite shows.
Shrinking, yes.
So Harrison Ford watched this movie before he agreed to do Shrinking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And did he like the dong?
I mean, he didn't really, as far as, you know, I read, he didn't say much about it, but he did agree to do Shrinking, so.
There is a thing that, like, Jason Segal.
Just start saying Jason, I think.
Where Jason like wore a romper, and Harrison Ford asked him what it was about. And then the next day he's wearing the same romper that Jason Segal's wearing.
Harrison Ford is so funny.
Yeah, he's the best.
Also, Shrinking Season 2 out now.
Harrison Ford, the last movie star?
Yeah, I think he is.
Harrison Ford loves two people that he's met, and those are Jason Segal and Ryan Gosling.
I mean, how could you not love those two people?
He wasn't ready for like Ryan Gosling to like do Blade Runner, the sequel to Blade Runner, which I saw the first one. You've seen the sequel.
What do you mean he wasn't ready?
Well, he didn't think Ryan Gosling would be good at Blade Runner because he only knew the Notebook.
Gotcha.
And then they met and talked, and afterwards Harrison Ford was like, "Oh, this guy's like a dude."
I love that Ryan Gosling's career is just him going out for things, the people being like, I don't think he's right for this, and then him proving like, actually, yes,
You could do anything.
is. Yeah, the only thing that he couldn't do was have you seen The Lovely Bones?
Make the Fall Guy work out well.
I like The Fall Guy.
It's a good movie, but it didn't do very well box office wise. I don't know The Lovely Bones.
Okay, so it's based on a book of a girl getting murdered, and he was cast as her dad, and then he like gained a bunch of weight for the role, and he shows up to like start filming, and the director was like, what are you doing? And he was like, yeah, I'm here. And he just had decided that like that's how he saw the character of the dad, and he needed to like gain a bunch of weight, and the director just completely disagreed, and so he didn't do the role anymore, and they brought in Mark Wahlberg, speaking of.
Oh. Ugh.
Yeah, I know, a real downgrade, I would say.
That's like
Gosling's so great.
100%. When you said Mark, I was like, Ruffalo?
No.
And then you changed it to Donnie Wahlberg.
No, changed it to Mark Wahlberg.
All right, what other parts of this movie you want to discuss?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Jason Segal shows up. I'm still kind of stuck on the premise before we really dive into some of the characters. He shows up at this resort in Hawaii, and Mila Kunis is like, great. What's your name? Do you have a reservation? And he says, no, I'm just going to wing it.
That is great. Yeah. I like that, though. Like,
Is
spur
that
of the
like
moment.
a thing that guys would do? Like, I can't imagine any woman that I know doing that.
I would say, like, I probably have an idea of how I'm going to book things, but I have, like, last minute made changes when on an international, like, travel by myself. Like, where I'm like, I was at a hostel in Oxford, and then I was like, you know what? I'll just stay an extra day. It doesn't matter. Because I hadn't booked the next things yet for where I was going to stay.
Gotcha.
So I just stayed in like day at this hostel and went to Blenheim Palace and everything. But yeah, I'm like kind of, as you may know, and one of the things that you like about me, but also get really bothered by is I'm real loosey-goosey.
If you're in England doing that, I think that's one thing. But like to fly to an island where there is quite literally like limited places for you to seek shelter, it feels like a bad idea.
I guess, but I would say like most resorts aren't, unless he's going in peak season, most resorts aren't sold out.
Okay.
Is my guess.
I don't know what time of year.
Yeah, no one
He
knows.
went to
because
this
it's the same day every year.
resort. Yeah. Okay. Just was curious about that. So we have kind of like a love square going on, I would say.
Yeah, but like but there's not another connecting part to make it a square.
So I guess it's a sort of a love triangle. So we've got Jason Segal is there. He's getting over Kristen Bell. She is dating Russell Brand. And then Jason Segal is also starting to flirt with Mila Kunis.
Yes.
How do you feel about this love triangle and how it all unfolds?
I'm going to give away a good takeaway
Okay.
early on. And
Sure.
that is Mila Kunis has no business being attracted to Jason Segal. I was like, lady, you're way out of this guy's league. You don't need to be doing
Well,
this.
I think that's like kind of supposed to be kind of the point.
Yeah.
Is that she's out of his league? But she's also figuring out her own stuff. So she's
She is
like
figuring out her own
working
stuff,
the front
which is
desk.
violence.
She like didn't really finish college. She's not sure what she wants to do. And
She's
is-
also stuck aimlessly.
Yeah, exactly.
But I like, and this is not to knock Kristen Bell. Mm-hmm. Because I'm like, well, Kristen Bell is very attractive.
Yeah, but she's also married to Dak Shepard, who isn't like
Yes.
the most attractive person.
Or good at acting.
Whereas Mila Kunis is married to Ashton Kutcher, who is like attractive, but
He won Sexiest Man of the Year, I think.
I know, but he did that movie with
Steve Jobs?
Reese Witherspoon where they're like...
Oh, No Strings
like
Attached?
No, that's a great movie that he did with Natalie Portman. But he did this movie recently with Reese Witherspoon where they like play best friends and then they fall in love,
yes.
but while like FaceTiming on opposite, and it's so clear that they have zero chemistry and never filmed in the same location except for like one scene in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's so bad that it makes me not like him.
Yeah, that's fine. That makes sense.
But I get what you are saying.
So that was like, but it's fine because like it's a movie and this kind of dopey guy is like, whoa, you know, but it is.
And it's not like they start dating right away. Like
no, but he's a sad boy.
He's very sad. She takes pity on him. They technically don't have any rooms. And she's like, we'll put you up in the presidential suite.
Yeah.
Like, essentially.
But she's like attracted she's like nice immediately with this guy.
Well, she works in hospitality.
Yeah, but she helped him with the nicest room in the place.
She did because she immediately sees that he's incredibly sad and that his ex is at the same resort with her new boyfriend. So yeah. And then they just start kind of like hanging out, and then they have a nice moment at a like karaoke bar, and he gets up and sings part of his Dracula musical, which is really weird, but
very strange.
And then he like gets into a fight with her ex on the beach, and it's the whole thing, and they jump off a cliff at one point together.
He almost dies.
He does almost die. He does not jump far enough.
He shouldn't be doing any of this.
And then that's like kind of it. Like he kind of hooks up with Kristen Bell again at one point, and then Mila Kunis finds out and she's upset. And
well, she finds out because he just tells her. He tells her in a way. So that in this movie, if we're talking about the relationships themselves, he's like. He's like finding out in the beginning, like, oh, this girl. It's like when a waitress has something nice to you, and you're like, oh, this waitress loves me.
Sure.
And then you give her a higher tip, but then you find out she's the waitress. This is a thing like every loser guy goes through.
Gotcha.
And then he's like, oh wait, she's just being nice to me and doesn't actually like me. But Mila Kunis is finding out, oh, I am just being nice to this guy, but now I'm kind of think I have feelings for him because there's depth to who he is, which is similar to what I am also going through. So I need to make him better, and maybe I'll make myself better throughout.
Gotcha.
Where Kristen Bell is just like, I can't handle this. I am like going somewhere, and you're not following me. And it's revealed later why she cheated on him. And she goes to Russell Brand, which isn't a great move. No. He's a terrible guy.
Yeah, he's cheating on her constantly.
He is a terrible, terrible person.
Yeah.
But I think she's just like trying to like get out.
Right.
And then they hook up, and then Jason Segal is like, well, I like Mila Kunis, so I'll just be honest about this stupid thing I did, which is like, I get it, but it's not going to work out the way you think.
Yeah. And she is pretty much like, no, I don't want to see you.
You just cheated on me.
So he goes back, and then it kind of ends with like, he invites her to his Dracula musical that he ends up putting on, and she does come to it, and they kind of go out for a drink after, and it's left there. So we don't really
it seems like it's
know,
gonna work out. Because she's like, I'm gonna stay here, maybe go to school for the summer. Can I crash at your place? And he's like, oh, I'm a Dracula.
I don't think she says, can I crash at your place?
Well, she is gonna stay there for like a month or two, she says.
In LA, not
she'll crash
in his apartment.
Yeah, they'll move in together. They're married together.
Okay.
There is but I just have a concern because I feel like this movie makes Kristen Bell a villain.
Well, that's a question that I had for you is like, who is the villain in this? Because you do go into it thinking like, okay, clearly Sarah Marshall is the villain. But by the end of it, you realize like she's kind of not, because he's like, you didn't even give us a chance, like all this stuff. And she's like, no, I did. I tried to talk to you so many times about like what was happening. And
100%.
that was, I was unhappy and like tried to get you to like want things for yourself. And he just wasn't in a place to do that. So I think there isn't a villain to this movie.
I don't disagree, because to me, I thought, if I'm actually talking about like in this movie as like a powerful scene, when she is explaining that, I'm like, oh wow, like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like this guy is stuck in not doing anything. But her end results are like the end results of a villain.
Yeah,
Russell Brand cheats on her, says he's cheating on her, doesn't care. She's left alone, crying.
Yeah.
And then she's on the same stupid TV show, a different type of TV show she was on before.
Well, her show,
Got canceled.
Crime Scene of the Crime, gets canceled. And that's what leads to her then like kind of seeking out Jason Segal again, kind of seeking out like comfort and home. And they sort of hook up, and then he stops it because of Mila Kunis. And then in the end, she does end up on another
Animal Instincts
with Jason Bateman, where she can talk to animals to solve crimes. But it turns out that like the day before she filmed the scene where she tells Jason Segal that like her show got canceled, she did find out that Veronica Mars got canceled.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she was like, yeah, the scene was very real in the sense that I was just talking about my show getting canceled, and that is what happened.
Well, I didn't know that. That's crazy. And we can talk about it after this, but I to me, that's what I really struggled with. Whereas I was like, Kristen Bell doesn't deserve this ending with her character. She also deserves to move on to what she's doing.
Well, but she got to be on another show.
Yeah, but she wanted to be a movie star. Like, her goal was kind of... It felt like, she finally got hers for treating our hero that way this whole time. And I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't know that, like, women in the early 2000s get treated great in comedies. So,
I would say in the Judd Apatow universe, women don't get treated well.
I think Mila Kunis's character is like a little bit underdeveloped in this, I would say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
like,
a fair criticism.
Her big thing is my boobs are up at this one thing.
Yeah, she's like, I have a nude photo and I'm not sure if I should go back to school.
Yeah, it's really
There's
odd.
Probably something else there to tap into, but what did you think of like Kristen Bell in this role, Mila Kunis in this role? What did you think of their casting? Because they weren't, this is 2008, so
Kristen Bell perfectly cast.
Neither one of them was really like a movie star.
This is
at this
their
point. They're both kind of like TV people still.
Yeah, this is their move, which is funny because you bring up the Veronica Mars thing, because it feels like Forgetting Sarah Marshall is also Kristen Bell moving in the movies.
Yeah, it is.
It's a very much like Kristen Bell's story, and it's like, your story ends poorly.
No.
But I thought Kristen Bell was great in this movie, and I thought Mila Kunis has got tons of charisma and charm and everything. I don't think she's like as you said, like fully developed in this movie.
Right.
When I see a movie later on like Black Swan and see Mila Kunis like really acting in it, when you see like Mila Kunis really acting in like Black Swan, you're like, oh, like she's got it. But it doesn't seem like she's given a lot of like options after that.
Right.
She's done like Bad Moms Club. Is that the movie?
There's Bad Moms and Bad Moms 2, which Mila Kunis is the like lead in both of those, and Kristen Bell is also in them.
And she's like she's a voice or something in a like maybe the Kung Fu Panda movie or something like that. She's a voice in like like one of the.
She was in that like Jupiter Rising.
That
or Jupiter Ascending.
That movie bombed.
Yeah.
I didn't see that movie, but reviews are so bad I didn't see it.
She was in Friends with Benefits with Justin Timberlake, which she put that out, and then Ashton Kutcher put out No Strings Attached, like basically at the same time, which was weird because at the time the two of them were hooking up as like Friends with Benefits, like they weren't dating. They were like, this is nothing, and then obviously they ended up getting married. But I will say, of the two of those, No Strings Attached is like way better.
Is Mila Kunis Ashton Kutcher the most successful TV relationship?
What do you mean? Like in the
they
sense
met
that
on TV and then they got
co-star-
married and they're still married now. Like that's a pretty successful TV relationship.
Yeah, no others are like immediately coming to mind, but I'm sure others exist. So
maybe we'll have to look into it.
We'll look into it. We'll report back.
I'm googling Donnie Baldwin again.
Google.
Baldwin brothers. One thing I thought in this movie that I was like, you know, it'd be really funny, and there's no way you could actually do this. It would be really funny if in the background of this movie at the resort, you just saw White Lotus happening.
The timing would be
the timing is way
off.
But it would be really funny if you just watched White Lotus, or if you watch White Lotus and Forgetting Sarah Marshall just happening in the background of everything going on.
So we talked about, you know, like the main actors, but there's a ton, as per usual with a kind of Judd Apatow-y film, there's a ton of side characters. Mm-hmm. We've got Jonah Hill, we have Paul Rudd, we've got Bill Hader, we've got Diane Raphael makes an appearance in the beginning. Who else? We've got Kenneth from 30 Rock and the redhead from Accepted. I don't remember their name.
Jack McBrayer.
Jack McBrayer. Yeah,
I would say the Newlywed storyline is the saddest storyline in the entire movie.
It's so sad.
It's so. I guess it works out eventually, but it is so sad. Like, he is just like miserable, and he's like, "This is a terrible honeymoon," and it's like, "Oh, isn't this funny?" I'm like, "No, this isn't funny. What's going on with this guy? This is like a sad story." And then the only good thing Russell Brand does in the movie is help that relationship. Mm-hmm. Which is insane.
Yeah, he's not great. Jonah Hill is funny. He works at like the resort restaurant and just hates Jason Segal and loves Aldous Snow and is like trying to get his demo to him.
Down the line, we'll watch 40-Year-Old Virgin, which is Jonah Hill's first movie with Judd Apatow, which like led to like all the other stuff he got. And it's such a small scene. But it is like, Jonah Hill is so good at being like indignant, maybe? Like just kind of like really shitty to somebody he doesn't care about.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like very funny. And it's like not something you should have charisma and be very funny at, but he's really good at being shitty to people, which probably in real life.
We don't need to go there. But yeah, what'd you think of Paul Rudd? I mean,
Paul Rudd's great. You can't go wrong with that.
I love when he plays just like a dummy.
I mean, when does he not play a dummy?
Well, lots of times. Ant-Man, he's not like a dummy.
He's a little bit dumb.
A little bit dumb.
He's always playing a little daft.
Yeah.
And he doesn't play daft like, oh, I'm actually the smartest guy in the room when I'm playing dumb. No, he is just dumb.
No, he plays it like he's just happy to be there.
Yeah, he's super happy, which helps.
I think he just wants to like hang out with his friends on set, which is how I would approach being in movies as well. So I get
also,
it.
sexiest man alive.
Really?
Paul Rudd, yeah.
I don't keep track of it because I feel like it's always...
Because I'm like hoping I'll get it next year.
It is always like 10 years off. Like John Krasinski got it this year and it's like he was in one movie this year and it was a children's movie. Like, what are we doing?
That children's movie was...
I just think if you had put that out, you know, whenever A Quiet Place first came out,
yeah,
like the first one came out, I think that is really justified. Or if it came out when he was still doing, what is it, Jack Ryan,
yeah.
Which one? Like
Jack Ryan.
That makes sense. But to do it now,
Jack Reacher. I don't know, one of the Jacks.
It's confusing. And last year it was
Jack is short for John.
Patrick Dempsey. And it's like, we are so far removed from the days of Patrick Dempsey on Grey's Anatomy. Like, it just feels out of touch. So I don't know
Last year was Patrick Dempsey?
Yes. I don't know what
crazy.
game they're playing over at People. I don't know if it's like publicists are pulling the strings here.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I'm just saying, like, Adam Brody exists. And he had a big year. And why are we not making him sexiest man alive?
So to you, sexiest man alive should be people making the leap.
I think it should be someone who is like
Blake Shelton.
Relevant. Yeah, that's weird. Like, first, they need to be sexy. Second, they need to like be established. And third, they need to be relevant. And if they don't meet that criteria, then I don't agree with the choice.
I would say fourth, they can't be married.
I think they can be married. Why can't they be married?
No, I mean, I'm the sexiest married guy, so I can't have those people out there.
I don't think that makes any sense.
No, it doesn't. I didn't know where I was going with it. The Newlywed couple, as I said, terrible.
Jonah Hill, Paul Rudd,
thing,
great.
There's a part that happens
when he's trying to teach Jason Segal how to surf.
It's so hard to find someone who's knocked out in the ocean. And it's such a minor wound when they finally like figure it out.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like the littlest cut in the world. But he is like fully concussed. They're like, oh, it's just a little cut. I'm like, well, he's concussed. Take him to a hospital.
Yeah, he's not good at his job of surf instructor.
No, he's not a good surf instructor.
He doesn't teach Jason Segal how to surf at all. He's
Pop
always
up. No.
pop up. Not no.
Pop up.
Do less. Do less.
Do more. You gotta do a little more.
Do less.
Pop up. You didn't even pop up.
But yeah, Paul Rudd in a visor is great in any film, I would say.
There was a thing in the movie. I don't want to go back too far back, but like when they did relationship flashbacks, there was some information, but I thought they were odd.
Okay.
Like it just felt weird, and it felt weird timing, and it also felt like relationship flashbacks that they did. It almost like they're all like one part of the movie, not throughout. Oh,
gotcha. You wanted more.
Like kind of tell the story as you're telling this other story through these flashbacks. But I felt like the flashbacks are like, this 20 minutes of this movie are when all the flashbacks are going to be.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just trying to show like how their relationship was and how it changed and why he wasn't happy in it. They show him like holding her purse a lot on the red carpet. At one point, a photographer yells at Jason Segal. He's like, Andre the Giant, get out of the way. And this is why we were watching Shrinking the other day, and they also reference Andre the Giant. And I was like, what the heck? And then I looked it up, and he references Andre the Giant like in all of his stuff.
This was going to be my...
It's so random.
This was going to be my replacement for the Mila Kunis thing for my good takeaway. So I'm going to give you my backup good takeaway right now. Okay. Jason Segal has 3 things that he does in everything he ever does.
Singing?
1, the Andre the Giant thing.
Okay.
Oh, singing is 4. Okay. Singing is singing random songs to people, like just making it up.
He sings a little bit of the Muppets in this movie too.
Yeah,
it's like a little bit of foreshadowing there.
Sings Andre the Giant. There is always montages of him getting drunk in everything he does.
Okay.
There's just montages of him taking shots, drinking quickly. And there is always him crying during sex.
Yes. Oh, I thought you were just going to say crying in general. But
no, but like crying during sex, I feel like specifically. I think that happens in Shrinking. That happens in this movie. I'm pretty sure that happens in How I Met Your Mother.
I don't know that it does, but it might. He does cry a lot. And that at the time, this comes out in 2008, and it's a different kind of rom-com in the sense that it is more calm than rom, but also like the guy in it is crying a lot. And he's like very emotional and he's like depressed, and it's a different side to masculinity than we were getting a lot in 2008. So that was like kind of setting it apart.
What other masculinity were we getting around this time?
I don't know, like Gerard Butler.
Oh, like 300?
Well, I was thinking in the Katherine Heigl movie he did, but yeah.
Oh, is that the assassin one?
No.
Isn't he like a...
He plays like a podcast host who's like hates women. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, it's not...
What is this movie? I thought there was a movie with Katherine Heigl where someone's like a hitman or something and she's like helping him out.
Yeah, that's somebody else.
I thought that was Gerard. So Gerard Butler is just a podcast host that hates women.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least we don't have that anymore.
Yeah, thank God.
They really make Sarah Marshall seem horrible. I don't love that. Can I talk about one specific scene in this movie? Because I know we're just kind of talking about like the overall movie.
Is it a Bill Hader scene?
Well, no, that Bill Hader.
Bill Hader plays like his stepbrother. Random.
I think it's like it is like a half brother or something like that. Yeah, and he is very funny every time he talks because he's like
steals the show.
He's terrible. He's like not a good guy.
He's a bad guy. But
he's also correct in all of his advice. Mm-hmm. He's like, what are you doing? Get out of there. Don't talk to her. You're outside of a veranda right now. Do not hang up. Do not hang up. Hang up.
Yeah, I love a Bill Hader moment in pretty much any movie.
Is your wife there? Yeah.
Yeah. He's like married and she's always just off screen. Just such a married couple thing of like, You always have to tell, you're always like, by the way, Katie's here.
Yeah.
Like on every phone call, you're like, by the way, Katie can hear you.
Yeah, just so you know, Katie can hear you. Just because I don't want to say something terribly gross or disgusting. And you're like, is that what your friends talk about? No, not at all. But there was another scene, the double date, next to the newlywed couple, the double date scene is the second worst part of the movie. It is so uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. So Jason Segal and Mila Kunis are like going to dinner, and then they bump into Kristen Bell and Russell Brand, and they're like, oh, yeah, like, do you guys want to eat together? Assuming that they would say no, which is the correct assumption. But then Kristen Bell, who's been feeling weird about like her ex is seeing someone else and she's not feeling very fulfilled in her relationship, she's like, yeah, totally. And then it's just the most awkward dinner ever.
It's in there, like, kind of like, at one point, all three of them turn on Sarah Marshall because she did a movie that she was defending.
Yeah, that's the one I was just talking about where your like cell phone tries to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's funny is that Kristen Bell like kind of did a movie like that. But
oh, really?
And she was like, did you know this? And Jason Segal was like, what? No. Like they swear that they did not know she actually did something like that. But yeah.
Man, this movie really is so shitty to Kristen Bell and Sarah Marshall. Like, it is like makes me not like the movie.
No. She was really excited to be in it.
I'm glad she got a lead part, but it does make me like I'm not even trying to be like, women are. I was like, this person doesn't deserve the kind of hate that they're getting in this movie, I feel like. It doesn't balance in my head.
Gotcha. Well, just know that it was good for Kristen Bell's career.
Okay.
And so that helps. She like auditioned for it, and apparently in the whatever they send you about the audition, it's like must be able to improvise, and she was like, I can't really do that, but like I'll try. And then she got it and she's like, I hope I know how, because for this movie it was like 60-70% of it was scripted, but the rest is improvised.
I imagine
I'm gonna guess all of Bill Hader's lines were improvised.
Fully like, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
I would say that probably Kristen Bell improvising was like, and we have a case to solve. I'm Veronica Mars. What are you doing?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know which parts were, but yeah.
We have to solve the case of these kids dying in a bus.
Veronica Mars is a good show.
Veronica Mars is a good show, but the kids dying in a bus is probably the darkest like storyline. Like a bunch of kids die in a bus.
Yeah, it's not good.
And Kristen Ritter, John Ritter's daughter, is in it.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else about this movie you'd like to discuss?
They really made those like puppets.
The vampire
musical. For the vampire musical.
The vampire musical I thought would be sillier.
It's very serious.
But it's really good.
Yeah.
It's good, but I just was hoping it would be sillier. But it is like, this is a legit thing.
So Jason Segal just like got really into puppets because when he like
Muppets.
He like, well, yeah, he liked the Muppets, but he moved out to LA.
He loved
trying
the
to
Muppets.
do stuff, but he would be up at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. with these ideas of like, I want to shoot this. And that's not when your friends are around to like shoot stuff for you. So he was like, what if I just had Muppets do everything? So he's like, it's like making puppets to then film like short movies and stuff like that. But I will say the puppets for the Dracula musical were created by the Jim Henson Creature Shop. So they are very
makes sense.
Legit puppets.
Yeah, I thought that whole thing was well done. I'd love to see a full version of this musical.
I don't think we will.
Oh, damn. All right. You want to hear my takeaways?
I do. I've heard some already.
The good takeaways, I'm not going to... These are my 3 takeaways. My good takeaway, I'm giving you 2.
Yeah. So
what's that accent that I just did? I'm giving you 2.
Okay. So
I give you 2.
What's your bad takeaway?
My bad takeaway is that the self-hating song that he sings... better than anything done in the vampire musical.
Okay.
It is like very funny. I'm like, this song's catchy.
Yeah.
The normal takeaway is, oh my God, I've given you all my takeaways already.
Great.
It was every Jason Segal thing he watches cries during sex.
That's fine. It's fine to already give away your takeaways.
It's just, you brought it up. Now
It
organically happened my takeaways. I feel so bad.
It's okay.
other normal takeaway is the character we didn't talk about, Mila Kunis's coworker, is fantastic in this movie. The bartender guy.
Oh, yeah. At one point, they're like, we're going to do a luau. We're going to do a pig roast. We have to go get the pig, and then it's a live pig.
Yeah.
And then Jason Segal's like crying.
Yeah, this is the part where I got to the White Lotus thing. Where I was like, the natives are like taking in the loser white guy.
Yeah.
But is that the same guy as the guy that was the bartender too? Where he told Jason Segel like, "Oh, Mila Kunis is just being nice to you."
Gosh, we watched this such a long
I think
time
it's
ago.
two different people.
It's not the same guy who like is working the brunch buffet. That's a different person.
Oh, that's a totally different person. Yeah, not talking about him. There's a guy who works the bar where the newlywed guy, Jason Segel, and I think even Russell Brand are all drinking together, and the guy's like giving him advice about Mila Kunis.
I'm gonna have to watch this movie again.
Okay, let's watch it right now.
Okay.
Edit right now. We watch the entire movie. And, all right. Well, that was my other normal takeaway is that like the side characters I'd never seen in any other movie were very good in this.
Yeah. Who would you have Wally play in the movie?
Honestly, Wally would play the bartender guy that I'm talking about. I think he'd be really good at that.
Nice.
Because he couldn't talk, but you could tell by his eyes the advice he's giving you.
I think Wally could play the Jonah Hill character because Wally can be like pretty mean.
Yeah. I think
He can do like a mean side eye.
He can do a mean side eye, but he can't do a listen to my mixtape eye. That's his biggest problem.
I think he could.
Okay. All right. That is the Wally cast in this movie aspect of the show. Wally.
Okay, well, that leaves us with the big question.
Am I Jason Segel in real life? Probably.
No, but I do think you relate to him in some ways.
I think if you had to pick a celebrity for me to be the most like, it'd be Jason Segel.
Yeah, you're not as musical as he is.
Have you heard me do the theme songs for our segments?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Is this a good movie?
Now, this is closer than I thought it would be.
Oh my god.
Because I am upset about the Kristen Bell treatment in this movie. But overall, I did laugh a lot. And I did like Jason Segel. And the vampire musical, which I kind of knew was in this movie, was much better than I anticipated it being.
Okay.
So I want to say no. Yes, this is a good movie. Yes, this is a good movie.
Yay!
Yay!
Cheers! Cheers!
Wow, the
applause,
excitement.
Applause!
That's a bug. Yeah, so that's a good movie.
Great. Another win for Katie.
Wait, are we competing?
Nope. Okay, well, what are we going to follow up this great movie with?
Well, next week, as everyone knows, is Christmas Day.
Woohoo!
And that is the classic cheer of Christmas. Woohoo! So I have thought of a Christmas movie that I do not believe you have ever seen.
I don't know because...
Which is a Christmas movie that I think is fantastic.
Okay.
But I haven't watched it in a long time, but I definitely am going to 100% say it holds up. This movie has Sinbad in it. Everyone else automatically knows what this movie is.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen this.
Phil Hartman.
Okay.
And a certain Arnold Schwarzenegger. We're going to watch Jingle All the Way.
Okay. We will watch Jingle All the Way, which it looks like you can watch on Hulu and maybe Prime, too.
I actually looked this one up. You can watch it on Hulu.
Great. I'm just used to you not knowing where to stream it.
Okay.
So I like
all
that.
right. Well, I guess I am Jason Segel because I'll be leaving this lady soon.
Okay, I'm excited. I've seen Single All the Way.
Wow, that is not the same movie.
It's another Christmas movie.
Jingle All the Way is fantastic.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for listening to This Is a Good Movie podcast. We appreciate you all being here, and we would also appreciate if you could like and comment and
follow,
subscribe, and you can do all of that on YouTube or on whatever podcast
Spotify,
streaming
iTunes.
service you like, or follow us on Instagram at TIAGM Pod.
Yep, you can find our handles on that as well, but we prefer you go to at TIAGM Pod.
on Instagram. And thanks so much to everyone who helps put this podcast together, like our logo from Carrie Pulley, our theme song and editor, Kale Forbes, and
vocals
from Austin Fry. I think that's it.
That is it. Thank you so much, guys.
We love you.
We love you.
Oh, shit. I did it this time.
Bye.
Bye.
This is a good movie podcast with Katie and Joe.